morning, everyone. I am happy to be here once again for a mentor session. My name is James Giglio. I am the CEO and founder of MVP Interactive. We're an experiential technology company that services professional sports teams and large brands. So I do want to apologize in advance. I am going through a major allergy fit here, so any sniffles or coughs or drinks of water, I apologize in advance. So hopefully we can get through this session without any of that. So with all of that said, we are going to get started with Kristen Lattice. And the question that she had asked is, what are some of the best ways to land new clients on LinkedIn other than cold messaging? The business description and background of her question is she's launching copywriters online I'm launching a copywriter for online entrepreneurs. I'm shifting towards using LinkedIn more as one of the main platforms to find new clients. I've tried using sales navigators before, but felt embarrassed as the system would reach out to either other copywriters or people who are clearly not my ideal client. Elevator pitches, I write sales copy for online coaches launching product services who want to grow their business through persuasive writing. So, Kristen, this is a really relevant question to someone like myself that is constantly solicited on LinkedIn. As a founder, and there's a lot of tangential companies that are looking to sell their services, I am inundated daily with LinkedIn messages. So I think you're taking a very practical and considerate approach into respecting others. So you don't want to do these blanket sales pitches LinkedIn to people's messages and inbox. I think it gets very noisy. From my perspective, I put all of my contact information right on my profile. So if you're not a robot just blasting out solicitations, if you put a little bit of research into my profile, you'll see where to contact me, both on a phone number and my email address. So to me, it's a way to gatekeep who's lazy and who's not in terms of these solicitations. I have personally never used Sales Navigator, but I would encourage a premium LinkedIn account. The reason being, and the main reason for a premium account, is it allows you to search contacts that you may want to solicit without necessarily them being able to see your profile. So it kind of keeps you clandestine behind the wall while you're doing your research to figure out who you can approach. And then you can do as much research there to really set the outreach off of LinkedIn, and whether that's emails or traditional phone calls, I would suggest going that route first. I do things a little bit backwards in the sense of when I reach out to individuals, I'll do my research, I'll make a phone call, or I will go ahead and send an email, and then just blindly LinkedIn look for a connection. I don't look for any solicitation. I don't do a long-winded, let's get together. It's just a straightforward note looking for that connection. And so I really appreciate where you're coming from here, and I do think it's a positive angle. LinkedIn is a great resource, no question. Personally, it is probably my largest social media platform because I've invested the time and energy to try to represent my business in a professional manner by setting updates or writing articles and posting relevant information about your company on LinkedIn, much more as a free advertisement than anything else. And so I would also encourage you just being super active on your profile. That really creates the best vision and the best representation of what your services are. And so you can use that as a ancillary piece to your sales outreach, but I think you're on the right path in terms of getting creative and not just sending these blind inboxes to LinkedIn. It's infuriating. As I must get, no question, no doubt, 15 a day, and it gets very noisy. Another little trick that I've used and implemented: if you go onto my LinkedIn profile, James Giglio, you'll see a microphone before my name. The reason I've used an emoji or an icon in front of my LinkedIn profile is because it immediately weeds out the robots. Because when somebody is on an automated platform, and it could be Sales Navigator, what they'll do is when they send that email, they'll just rip whatever the name of your title or the title of your name is, and that's including the emoji. So if it's not a personalized message, hi James, it's hi microphone James, I know immediately that this is either spam or just a very lazy approach into blanketing inboxes. So if that helps at all, I think it's a great strategy even when people are selling to you. So keep that in mind when you do invest in any type of outreach platform. And I think you'll start seeing more titles with some level of buffer before their names to just kind of wean out these robots. So hope that helps, and good luck, and certainly feel free to reach out to me or even connect on LinkedIn. How's that? All right, next question. Tatiana Mehmeti. Question is, what are some ways I can reward my employees to keep them motivated and excited in a quick serve type restaurant? Background on the question, the business description is the summer gets really busy and we want to do something exciting where we give someone a $500 to $1,000 bonus at the end of the season. I was thinking a chart to keep track so people can really get excited. I don't want it to be a cutthroat competition. I want them to do work well together and want them to feel appreciated. Well, listen, you're on a great path. I think that's an awesome thing to do. Our business is obviously much different, but the theory and philosophy is something that builds great culture, and it is a great way to incentivize those employees to really do work beyond what their paycheck or their day-to-day requires. And so I think you're on the right path with setting up that program. So, I don't think for your type of business you have to worry about it being too cutthroat or competitive. In my business, I do encourage that from a sales perspective. And so we do a couple of different incentive programs for our sales team. But I have this philosophy at our businesses that we win together. And so what we do is create project bonuses. So when we do get a new client or a new production to work on, we know that there are a set of milestones and guidelines that if we all work together and achieve a successful production, everyone is rewarded. So because at the end of the day, a happy client is what's going to continue to drive our business and motivate our employees. So we kind of distribute that success to the team. The one thing I would be a little concerned with based on, and I don't know much about quick serve restaurants, but typically if it's very seasonal, you may have to worry about turnover, and seasonal employees, they fly by the by the wind with the next opportunity on occasion, right? And so the one thing I would consider for your business is maybe shortening what these milestones are or the bonus structure is. Now, if your season is 3 or 4 months, it is a bit of a sprint, but maybe consider bi-weekly or maybe a monthly rewarding system, and you'll have to figure out what that actually means. I don't know enough about your business, how you would measure, but a chart is fine. I would do some type of pricing mechanism or loyalty programming if that means having this chart and setting stars, and so people can see it every single day. I think that'll be really inspirational and will help them motivate to their success. And so I would just worry about the timing. See if you can shorten these milestones to maybe monthly, and then even bonus someone. If they're the winner of all 3 months, they get an additional bonus. So now you're having these short sprints, but also wanting to incentivize people to kind of see through the season. So I think it's a great thing. It's a great strategy and philosophy, and it really helps with company culture as well. Okay, AJ Couts, a question they asked: how do you choose where to focus when everything needs work? Business description and background of question. Maybe it's the phase of business growth, or perhaps it's my perspective, but I feel like nothing we're executing for our clients is performing nearly as well as it should be. I feel like the spinning plate entertainment guy who is always bouncing from one plate that's about to fall onto another, with many different types of plates wobbling. I'm really struggling to apply my focus to really excel at any one thing. Well, AJ, this is certainly consistent to every entrepreneur at the beginning of their business, and in many ways, maybe a hamstring to the growth of their business after some time. personally, this is something that has been a work in progress for my business, and we're 9 years old in terms of where I focus my attention. So I'll just give you an example. I have taken the approach in the past where, I really focus what needs the most attention, whether that's sales and business development. And then once we, get a client and a production, then I focus on the operation side, and then I just bounce back and forth. It's not a scalable business. It's not a scalable business model, and it's also a great way to burn yourself out because you'll never be able to concentrate what you're really good at. And it also indicates that there's some holes in your system and/or process. So I would kind of take a ground floor approach here and really look at the systems and the processes that you have in place or do not have in place and look to set those up. I certainly would recommend Dan Abate in terms of the mentor group here to connect with, kind of help you establish those processes. But once you have those things in order and the right support around that, you won't feel as manic and crazy. But this is certainly something that most of us struggle with, and until you really get those processes in place, it's something you may have to live with for a little while. I'm not sure how, where you are from a revenue perspective, how big your team is, but there's no business that doesn't need a process or a system. And there's this theory that most of us think that we always have to worry about the top gear and then it grinds down to the bottom. But honestly, it's the smallest gear on the bottom that kind of gets everything into motion. And so it's really important if you just think about the process and your systems as that bottom gear that can help engineer and drive the other gears to spin, because that's where success really matters, right? Or is identified. So I feel you, and this is something that, like I said, we all go through, we constantly go through, and it's really important to kind of try to focus your efforts, once you get these systems in place, into what you're really good at and what's the most value you bring to your business, whether that's sales or maybe even if it's operations on your end, whatever that is. But you need to identify that. So once you get your systems in place, you can focus on that, and that'll really help drive the growth of your business. All right, next question, Martina Wenk. How do I motivate myself and my coworkers not to give up in the beginning of our business? Description and the background of the question is, I run a home health care business in Switzerland. I am a nurse by trade. Doctors and hospitals refer patients to me, and I bill insurance companies for services we provide. I am a new company. I want to keep my new team motivated and inspired as we grow. I am looking for tips on how to do that. Thank you. So the main thing I would suggest to you at this point is, as an entrepreneur, as a leader starting a new business, it is critically important that you continue to share the vision of what you have for the business and its overall lifespan and the growth. And the more enthusiasm and the more sort of clarity you can provide to your team in terms of what the bigger picture is, they're going to be most inspired by that, especially at this stage, right? I remember when I started my business, literally, and this is a core value that I try to maintain even in this day, 8-9 years later, is that anything was possible. The sheer enthusiasm of knowing that we are able to create something together and bring a real valuable service to a market that has tremendous clients, right? Whether that's professional sports teams or big brands, sharing the excitement of what the vision and the growth plan of the business is was really helpful. And it's also important that as we kind of build this brick by brick, that you celebrate every little win. The losses are going to be there for sure, but when you can celebrate every little milestone that you achieve, or new client or new referral, and you just really bring that enthusiasm to demonstrate that this is all a part of the plan, all a part of the vision, I think those are the little things that don't really cost money for your employees to really buy into. And so you just have to acknowledge and remember that you're the leader here. You have to carry through that vision, and that is your primary responsibility. And this is also kind of a key component too with who you bring onto your team. And so you want to find like-minded individuals that kind of share that vision, that can kind of take ownership of their role and really grow with the business. And so that's very important that you as a leader can also encourage. Is I think, whether we've worked at companies in the past where you have a manager or a boss that says, oh, you're a valuable part of the team and it's really just to benefit them. I think if you can really bring in more of this holistic approach of, really empowering people to know that their role is critically important, they're valued, and their success is going to be tied to the business's success with the vision that you are going to carry out. So I'm going to leave the personal motivation thing to, I see that's another question here, so we'll get back to that. But from a team perspective, it really is just really carrying out that vision and encouraging people that they are a part of something big, and they're valued and it's important. So, and celebrate the wins. The losses are lessons, right? So you can certainly encourage people to learn when things don't go as planned. So that's something that's really important to remember. All right, next question, Tatiana. Tatiana, I have an employee that left to go work for another restaurant and just messaged me to let me know it didn't work out and if she could have her job back with us. What should I do? Her business description and background is I own a smoothie bar, juice bar. We have been having issues with employees lately and many leaving due to their senior year being over and them wanting to have a fun summer. And a few graduated college and now are pursuing their career. Lately, high school students are leaving to go to summer camp or temp jobs that pay cash, where in this case, the employee left to go work at a restaurant owned by a family friend. Here we are 2 weeks later. We replied to her text letting her know it was nice to hear from her and apologized that things didn't work out at the restaurant that she went to work for. I told her I want to talk next week. How would you handle this? All right. Well, the first thing to remind yourself, and this is really hard, this is definitely hard to hear, no one is going to care about your business as much as you, and you cannot expect anyone else to care as much as you. You are the leader, you are the business owner, and you have to realize that people are going to do what's best for them. It's human nature, it's difficult. Now, despite what I just said in terms of encouraging and motivating people, that's extremely important. But at the end of the day, you're the business owner. The responsibility falls on you, and you need to take ownership of that. And so I think that'll help with your mindset with how to approach or set expectations when you have these teenagers or people that are in transition in their life, to really manage an expectation as to what you expect from them. And secondly, the other thing I would consider is I wouldn't consider not taking her back for one key important reason, because if this person is coming back on bended knee where the grass was greener on the other side, and they learned the hard way, and you could, not that you're a told you so type of person, you can have that heart to heart with them and try to work out an agreement that makes the best sense, but then have that person be your internal evangelizer to any other employees that come into the business. And so maybe even look to leverage some type of referral program, because listen, I remember being in high school and the first thing that we did was, in terms of summer jobs, was you ask your friends, where do you work? Do you like it? Is it cool? How's the boss? So like, what's the environment? How much do you get paid? So using, these internal individuals as your evangelizer to recruiting could be really powerful, because if you have a good workplace, people are satisfied with, you're not going to make the $18 an hour in cash that you work otherwise. There's other benefits to working here, and I'm living proof. So I wouldn't completely close the door on this individual. Again, for the type of employees that it sounds like that you kind of deal with these transitional, they're growing as individuals, they're learning, how to act, how not to act. And, again, I think if you can leverage them learning their lesson and then using them as a referral source for other like-minded people to the business and what you're looking for, that could be a good silver lining to this experience. So good luck with that. I worked at Dunkin' Donuts my year before high school and college, so that was a fun experience being in that environment. All right, so we're going to come back to Martina. Martina asks, how do I get stronger in motivating myself? As a reminder, her business description is the home healthcare business in Switzerland. She's a nurse by trade. She gets doctors and hospital refer patients to her, and she bills the insurance companies for the services they provide. So here's the big message here. If you cannot motivate yourself, you cannot expect to motivate anyone else. So it's critically important that when you hit your 2 feet on the ground after you get out of bed, that today's going to be the greatest day ever, and you're going to be able to exude that inspiration to the people that you're around. And so listen, I think we all go through ruts, we all go through burnouts, and there's a couple of things that help me. One, when I experience where I'm not feeling that sheer today's going to be the greatest day ever, anything is possible, I can't wait to get at it today, I really try to reflect in, what are some of these issues that do I need to just take a couple of days over a weekend or even during the week to just clear my head and just try not to process some of the challenges at work? Or have I been doing things that I don't really feel inspired in doing in the business? Now, there's one thing that I love about, getting me out of that rut is I sell, right? And something that helps me, because that is my greatest asset to my business, is being able to evangelize and sell our services and products to whether they're clients, new clients, prospects, what have you. And as a CEO, I still don't feel that it's beyond me or below me to do that, right? Because it inspires me and it's something that I'm really good at. And so I'll carve out a day of the week and just do it old school and just pick up the phone and do some cold calls and in talking about the business and and feeling like I'm communicating and sharing the vision of the business really helps me get out of my head in terms of not feeling motivated, because it's really inspiring to focus on, you get to do something you love every day. Not many people can do that, and that's the reward of being a business owner. I mean, there's a lot of challenges, as we know, but at the end of the day, you wanted to do this, right? And you put this together and you believed in it and you get to do that. That's awesome. So just try to focus on what you're really good at in those moments. And I guarantee, even if it's a day, even if it's a few hours a week, you're going to feel super inspired. I will also say that this is where a lot of books and maybe influencers could help you. For example, even on Instagram, I follow a Navy SEAL called David Goggins. I don't know if you have heard of him, but I swear to God, he's the most motivational and inspirational person. And so when I don't want to exercise or I'm feeling a little down, I'll watch one of his videos and it's like, what the hell am I thinking? Like, I get out of that headspace. So I think that really comes down to mindset. And so I guarantee if you focus on things in your business that that you're good at and you can just feel really great about you being the person and influencing that, you're going to feel super inspired, and that's going to exude off you, and it's going to, as I mentioned before, really carry through to your team about the vision. So critically important there. So I hope you can kind of reevaluate like what that one thing is and just do it. Just try it. All right, final question here is coming in from Derek Lacrone. Question they asked: when should I consider bringing in partners for a business? A little background on the question and the business description is: this is a learning system that will be primarily delivered via an app and have web access as well. Thank you. So, very tricky question. I had learned a lot about raising equity, distributing equity with my business and starting, because we are software and technology. Traditionally, that's kind of where you think of partnerships and bringing teams on or partners in a way to help grow the business. So the first thing I would really evaluate is, what do you think is really necessary in terms of bringing on partnership? Because there is a lot of carry-on issues that could happen as a result of that. Because if you're the founder, you cannot, and I can't stress this enough, you cannot have the expectation that someone else is going to come in to share that enthusiasm and sort of handle it the way that you want to kind of build this. You can get supporters, but I would really evaluate like what type of partners you're looking for. If it's technology based, listen, there are so many resources when it comes to non-coding technology. So non-technical founders can really rely on a lot of automated systems and businesses that, even 10 years ago did not even exist. 5 years ago didn't exist. And so, if your mind is, well, I don't know technology, I don't know how to build an app, well, learn about other efficiencies that can. Because if you're going to bring on, say, a CTO that says, hey, I have this experience, and they're going to ask for 50% of the business, and after 2 months, they're not bringing the value that you necessarily thought they would, you're going to be in a potential issue legally, financially, and otherwise. So I would just really focus in on why you think you need those partners and what value they will bring. Financial partners, I mean, there's obviously circumstances where people will invest in the business to become a partner. You want to kind of really strategically look at, what value they're going to bring, how's it going to equate into their responsibilities, and what benefits they'll receive in terms of equity. There's just a lot of nuance, and I talked about this in my last mentoring session in terms of really trying to get ahead of what your operating agreement lists as the roles and responsibilities of these partners, and then how you maintain sort of managerial authority over these new people that are coming in to be able to protect yourself if your business should grow. So happy to help you consider and think about things that as you're looking to people, what to look out for, some of the pitfalls or the red flags. I think early on, we all want to kind of do things on a handshake deal. Hey, I know that you can do this, and I know I want you to become a part of my business, but just be careful and really evaluate the value that they're going to bring, and how it's going to excel or advance your company. But not knowing the type of partners you're looking for, I would encourage, if it's on a technical side, there are so many resources that you may not need that traditional technical partner. Or are these employees instead, right? Where you can just bring in some resources and talent that will help grow your business, but they're not legitimate equity partners or holders, but more of integrators into as employees. So complicated issue. I know the group here, this is a debatable topic in terms of distributing equity and how much and how often and to who. But there's just a lot of considerations to go into that. So just think if you really are looking for partners or employees, and how they're going to help grow your business. So that really wraps up. This was a nice, efficient live session here. So I hope that provides value to anyone, and I look forward to seeing you guys next month. We'll talk soon. Bye.